In this proud land we grew up strong. We were wanted all along. I was taught to fight, taught to win. I never thought I could fail. No fight left, or so it seems. I am a man whose dreams have all deserted. I've changed my face, I've changed my name, but no one wants you when you lose. Don't give up, 'cause you have friends. Don't give up, you're not beaten yet. Don't give up, I know you can make it good. Though I saw it all around, never thought that I could be affected. Thought that we'd be last to go. It is so strange the way things turn. Drove the night towards my home, the place that I was born, on the lakeside. As daylight broke, I saw the earth. The trees had burned down to the ground. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Another episode of The Unrelenting Alchemist, all spiritual all the time. So yesterday I had posted about the digital wars, and that was very prescient in a way. I talked about how demons and dark entities want to use electronics, digital, and the web to go after people, to try to attack them. So today a troll specifically began to engage me about my past video on Akka Mahadevi. The troll is like, prove that Akka Mahadevi dealt with patriarchy, misogyny, and caste. Whoever this person was, I don't know if it was a real person or not. He, she, it, whatever this person was, said that no, that there's no evidence or proof that she was ever subjected to patriarchy or caste. So this is an Indian woman in the 12th century who lived in a time when the discrimination was at its height. This is a woman that's pushed into a forced marriage, marrying a man she didn't want to marry. This is in a society where dowries even exist to this day, where many times when a woman gets married in these forced or arranged marriages, that then the bride's family is forced or extorted to pay out these large dowry sums that almost bankrupt these families. And this is going on to this day, right? I think I particularly gave a case of a woman who was a PhD student a few years ago who was being bullied by her husband's family to drop her PhD studies, to pay thousands of dollars in dowry, always accusing her of being a terrible wife. So this has been a country that's struggled with caste, struggled with patriarchy and misogyny and sexism for centuries. And yet I'm being told, oh no, yeah, you're going to have to prove that. Very specifically in Akka Mahadevi's case in 12th century in India. And they're just acting like everything about this is completely made up, which is kind of mind boggling. This is extremely basic information. You can find this in most history books, regardless of source. This is not something where it's like, oh no, certain liberal social scientists are telling you this stuff. Like, this is known and documented. This is the simplest of premises. In fact, I don't even think I ever learned about sexism and caste in India through any sort of liberal social science course. I studied international business as part of my MBA program, as I've informed many of you that I have different degrees in different subject areas. And so when you're in this MBA program, you're studying how to do business abroad. And many of the international business classes specifically tell you that, hey, before you go doing business in India, be aware of certain cultural beliefs, be aware of certain cultural systems, particularly that there is a strong entrenched caste system that over the years, many Indians have been forced into these different categories. And based on those categories, when their children are born, they're born into that particular class or level that they've been designated, and it's very hard to come out of that, you know? And so it's absolutely shocking that this troll is on here trying to make it sound like a group of phonies is peddling this information to make it seem like India had caste in its history, specifically that Akka Mahadevi, who's known as being a sort of like a feminist voice in India because she rallied against forced marriages. She rallied against having to basically be beholden to one's husband. that she in fact abandoned her husband and went and lived her life on her own in a time when that was considered to be a cultural taboo. So that's what I want to talk about today is these internet gaslighter trolls, which I'll call them energy vampire sea lions. And so in this particular case, you can see that this person doesn't come to learn or have a discussion in good faith. They already have an agenda. He's already kind of like, moving these goalposts, saying, I need you to prove this under this set of circumstances, and you can't discuss this, and you can't use this, go. And it's like, okay, first off, I have a life, thank you. I have things to do with my life. I don't sit around waiting for someone on the internet to come and tell me, hey, we're going to engage in a debate right now, and you don't win this debate unless I say you won this debate. Like, no, I don't have time for that. Life is short. We incarnate into these forms. We have things to do. Coming and sitting around and being a keyboard warrior and fighting with someone is not on my list of things to do that I know of. But these folks, they roam the internet looking for posts they can poke at with disingenuous questions, all while pretending to be rational. But behind the polite mask is a goal. They want to emotionally exhaust you, they want to destabilize your voice, they want to feed off the chaos they create. Because right away, they're already saying things like, oh, what did you do? Did you learn that on ChatGPT? Like, what's going on here? Are you just parroting, the voices of certain groups and using that, and you're not even checking your sources, and you don't even know what you're talking about? And so they're already coming at you to demean you, to belittle you, right? Because if they're really engaging in a logical argument, they're not going to start off with an ad hominem attack, right? Where ad hominem means they're attacking you right away. They're saying, oh, you're not genuine, you're not this, you're not that. If you already start off your debate, quote unquote, by coming after the person who you're now saying, oh, you're this, you're that, and you're being interruptive, you're being condescending, then these are the kind of people you have to stay away from. Because they love to bait people, they love to get you emotionally worked up, they want to hijack your attention, they want to hijack your time, they want to lead you into these long circular debates that go absolutely nowhere. I'm not going to learn anything from him. He's not going to learn anything from me, or whoever he, she, whatever this thing was. And they're going to just make you doubt yourself. They're going to slowly chip away at your confidence. They're going to slowly attack your clarity. Their weapon isn't really logic. They're saying that they want a logical debate, but this is really psychological warfare, and this is being masked as some sort of enlightened conversation. You're going to walk away from this feeling drained. You're going to walk away feeling confused. You're going to walk away feeling off-centered. And such a simple post is baiting you to fall into an emotional burnout. And these are very common tactics that get used all the time. I guess that's why they call them sea lions, but there are other types of strategies as well. For example, you have the straw man fallacy, which is, they're twisting your words to argue against something you probably never said. But if they keep moving the goalposts around and changing and reframing your statements, they're going to have you going crazy, defending against things that just weren't said by you and holding you to standards that you can't ever meet. And then, like I said, with the sea lining thing, this is where people are politely asking questions, but they're endlessly ending up in bad faith. Like I said, if you start off with an ad hominem in the beginning, it's already bad faith. Like they're not engaging in serious discussion because they're already insulting you and thinking you're going to engage in a conversation with a person that insults you to your face right off the bat, and that somehow you're just going to sit there, you're going to take it, and you're just going to keep going back and forth with them trying to convince them when you know that there's nothing to convince because this person already has their viewpoint. They're just coming to troll you. They're dismissing your points based on what you say or how you say them. They're right off the bat. They know their agenda, and so they are just constantly going to be coming at you in a way that is not productive. It's not conducive to anything that really helps people or educates people. You're going to always be wrong, and you're always going to be on the wrong end of the stick. And even if you even did come up with anything they could consider evidence, they're going to distract. They're going to go into things that are irrelevant, like whataboutisms, bringing up all kinds of things. Like I think at one point this person said to me, "Oh, stop acting emotional, or whatever." I'm like, I'm not even emotional over this. Like this is, I never grew up in India. I'm not from India. Um, One way or another, whether or not the people of India like a system or don't like a system, I'm not here to reform them. I mean, it would be nice if they did reform. It would be nice if we lived in a world that doesn't have caste. It'd be nice in a world that we don't have patriarchy or misogyny. But the bottom line is this person is a form of energetic parasite that's coming to feed on your reaction. They feel empowered when they say things like they're trying to get you to explain yourself repeatedly. You'll say something and they'll act like, no, I don't really get that. You're going to have to explain that further. They're baiting you. They already know what you said the first time you said it. They're just not acknowledging what you said because they want you to keep talking. They want you to keep getting worked up. They want you to kind of have this sort of like, and if you ever have issues with patience, you ever have issues with blowing up or being emotional, they're trying to see if they can push that button until they can get you to that point. Maybe get your blood pressure raised. Maybe get you like to just sort of become distraught because you're like, why is this person such a moron and why do they keep engaging me in conversation? So this becomes like a black hole of online discourse. Everything you give them disappears into a void. They're never going to concede anything, and you just need to protect yourself. This is for me. Like you'll get about one or two answers out of me, and after that, I'm gonna probably block you. I'm gonna probably mute you. I'm gonna probably put you off to the side because you're not doing anything that's productive. You've just come really to kind of just engage in all this baiting, to engage in all this gaslighting. And so I'll call it out calmly. And then I'll just let people know, hey, look, this isn't the real conversation. You're just moving goalposts. You're just draining energy. You're just gaslighting. I don't need to engage in this because I'm not going to sit here and play games with a troll. So you just block, mute, or walk away. You refocus your energy. Go back to people and spaces that nourish you, not people that have come to be parasitic and to try to push your buttons and to try to get you into a terrible mental state because they don't want you to be in a happy state. They want you to be in a state where you're agitated, you're focused, your peace of mind, all of that is being hijacked. And so they're going to, even if they have to try to discredit you, chip away at your confidence, chip away at your clarity. This is true psychological warfare, and you have to recognize it early on. There was years ago. I remember I used to be on Facebook a lot. I'm not so much anymore, but when I used to be on Facebook a lot, there were tons of these people, and I would engage in these long wars back and forth with these folks because back then I actually did try to convince people. I actually did think that people had the best of intentions. I actually did think that perhaps people had the sense to kind of listen to what you have to say and change their viewpoints. And what you realize after doing that for a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, several years, is that these folks just aren't looking for truth. They're just looking for your energy. It's your energy they're after, whether they're consciously doing it, intentionally doing it. There may be something that possesses them that is, forcing them to do it. So you just got to remember this all throughout. You're worthy. You are God's chosen. You are anointed for a purpose. These forces of darkness that are trying to come against you, they know who you are. They've seen your light. They see that you have a certain confidence about you, that your name is written in the spirit, that you're one of the respected ones because you're on a spiritual level that earns you a certain rank. And so you're divinely marked. And so they whisper these lies to make you doubt yourself. They stir confusion to disturb your peace. They send distractions to take you off mission. They're draining your energy so you forget who is the one who sent you above, but you need to stand firm because you're not here to entertain darkness. You're not here to sort of give the energy to these folks that they so badly need because they themselves have burned themselves out walking in whatever type of pretend authority they claim to have and trying to fulfill some contract that probably was given to them by a demon or a trickster or a troll. You don't owe them your peace. You don't owe them any explanation. You don't owe them your time. You protect your anointing like your life depends on it because it does. And so I just want to thank you for joining me in this sacred hour. This has been another exciting episode of The Unrelenting Alchemist. I always welcome you to come back again and again and be part of this collective. And so until next time, walk wisely, walk bravely, and when the dark calls, you answer not with fear, but with fire and light. You take care and have a great rest of your day. And if I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I love you.